All right. Well, it's Pale Beyond time. Uh, welcome, patrons. Thank you guys so much. First off, thank you for being patrons and the support. It's been great. We greatly appreciate it. Um, but we're here for a new play along series here on Patreon. And this time we're going to be playing through the Pale Beyond, a resource management survival sim. Um, it's interesting, but I somehow talked these three guys to play it with me, and so that's what we're gonna do. This will take us through September for our Patreon episodes. So buckle up. Got uh, an exciting, freezing cold, very stress filled 4 months to go. So
Yes.
but before we get into the gameplay itself, how you guys doing tonight, Chad? Start with you.
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad, pale,
I'm
not,
good.
not tan dad tonight, pale dad.
I was out in the sun quite a bit this weekend.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm very pale.
How about you, Nick?
I'm doing good. Cleaning my desk. I don't sit here, so it's just like a disaster. It's very just disgruntling. I'll have to get it cleaned before I go back to work on the 3rd.
Oh yeah.
Dreadful
I'll do that.
idea.
That's wow. Next week,
Mike's so
next whole
excited
week?
for me to go back to work.
I
He has
am.
someone to talk to.
Yeah, because Jeff he's just not cutting it.
That's true.
Well, I'm glad you guys are doing well. Before we get into the nitty gritty of the game, do any of you guys have experience playing these types of games? I know for me, the first time I fired this up earlier this year was the first time I had played a game like this in particular. But I know, Chad, you were saying before we started recording that this is kind of a new experience for you.
Yeah, I've never played outside of maybe like Oregon Trail. This reminds me a lot of Oregon Trail, but that was like back in the 90s probably. So since then, yeah, I haven't played anything even remotely similar to this.
Yeah. Is this kind of like, how do you feel about it?
It's tough, dude. Yeah, it's really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult. In a different way. It's not like a white nut. It's not like a Sekiro difficult, like white knuckle balls to the wall difficult.
It's,
but it's like, yeah, it's a brain game, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's just not much going on up here. Just like, yeah, whatever. Feed them all the food, all the rations, whatever.
Yeah.
100% of everything.
Want to be happy. Whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, gotta get that decorum up. What about you, Nick? Your experience with these games, how's this one treating you?
All the rations. I was half rationing these fools on like week 2, week 1. I was like, we don't need to be eating. The sun's shining. Don't feed these fools. It's about to get cold. I don't know. These games are kind of second nature to me. I don't know if it's less so much I've played exactly one in this style, but just like the idea of resource management games, usually more in the realm of like base building,
Right.
like simulated survival, like Banished, or any of those types of games. Very similar, but much different because of the format of this, because you're on a boat in the ice. So very cool aesthetic, very cool premise for an otherwise kind of boring genre, right? Because people just slam out kind of like village simulators all the time. So it's kind of cool that you're kind of managing a village or a crew, if you will. So I definitely enjoy it.
How about you, Dad?
Well, I don't have much experience with this specific genre. I mean, I would say, this might be a stretch, but RimWorld, maybe. Like, that's not like very like like here are your choices. You have to like decide, but like there is a lot of the resource management and like keeping people alive from various threats But other than that, no, not really, and nothing specifically like Pale Beyond. So this is pretty new, pretty foreign.
Nice. Yeah, so this game was made by Bellular Studios, and I didn't realize this at first until I don't even know how I stumbled on this, but if that name sounds familiar to you, you might recognize Bellular from World of Warcraft YouTube content. He was a big like Blizzard news relating to World of Warcraft. He would put out videos all the time covering different expansions, et cetera, et cetera. But apparently he also started a game studio, and this was their first project. So that kind of made me a little happy. But this game, came out February of 2023, relatively new, and just has an absolutely gorgeous art style. Love the hand drawn graphics we got here. But essentially, like I said, it's a resource management survival sim, heavy on the narrative here. So we're following this crew that's being captained by a Captain Hunt, and they are tasked to go find the missing Viscount ship, which has set sail here, and this Arctic expedition has gone missing, and we're tasked to go try to find them. So the game starts. We're sitting in Captain Hunt's office and basically being interviewed for a spot on this crew. He asks us a series of questions. I wrote them all down, and I'm curious to see what you guys chose as your like character build, I guess you could say. But the first question he asks if we were born a landlubber or a sea dog. So you could choose landborn, saltborn, or mixed. I went with saltborn. Nick?
Mixed.
Mixed. Okay, Dad?
The sea.
Saltborn, okay.
Yeah, sea dog.
Sea dog.
Chad?
Yeah, I did Saltborn as well.
Nice. And then the next question, military experience. You could choose colonial, which is Royal Admiralty. You could be a merchant who sailed the merchant lines for 12 years, or you could be a criminal. And I chose criminal this run.
Whoa.
I left that life behind. I'm seeking redemption on the ice, guys. Okay.
Yeah, dirty dog.
Redemption by death.
Yeah. Chad, what did you pick here?
Death.
So I actually really wanted to do the criminal one, but I was like, I don't know. So I want the colonial.
Colonial. Okay.
Yeah.
Dad?
Merchant.
Okay. We covered all the bases so far. What about you, Nick?
Yeah.
Merchant as well.
Okay. Okay. 12 years sailing the merchant lines for the bottom
Hard work
road down there.
That's right.
Have you guys ever fired a weapon? I chose yes.
Yes.
Yeah, all around?
Yes.
Nope, of course.
No? Chad said no.
Go,
What?
Chad, go.
Yeah, I wanted to. I wanted to kind of be opposite of my military experience. I picked.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, it was like let's go with a
Hey,
military dude that never shot a gun.
Yeah,
Happens all the time.
that's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's
Maybe
not-
he's a cook. I don't know.
Medic.
Next question. Have you ever killed a man directly or otherwise? I chose no.
Nope.
Nope.
Yes.
Oh.
You
Now,
dirty
it would have been
dog,
really
man.
good if you had never fired a weapon, but you had killed a man.
Had
Yeah.
killed a person. Yeah.
Like, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Who needs a gun?
He asked us two more questions. You're not married, are you? I said happily.
Happily.
Dad.
Nope.
Of course not.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Split in the room.
And the last question, and you're sure they're fine with you leaving for this long? I don't know if you guys who chose no had this question, but for us married folk, you could choose we need the money, we've been through worse, or I don't see how that's relevant. I said we've been through worse. What'd you say,
Same.
Nick? Yeah. Did they ask you guys this question, or did you guys get a different question?
I think we got a different question, but I can't remember what the question was.
All I have is
Probably no banging the crew.
he
you
says
creeps.
You better not have a death wish. One must believe they'll return to justify leaving in the first place, or something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
That's right.
All right. So we get through the interview, and of course he tells us the point of the expedition. Like I said, we're here to find the Viscount. They set sail 5 years ago on this research expedition towards the Dead Peninsula to find and study the absolute magnetic south. Alive or not, the research is supposedly of extreme importance, so we need to go find it, and we will be setting sail aboard the Temperance ship. I figure
Sister ship to the Viscount.
Yes. I figure the best way that we'll go through these is we'll just go week by week, discuss anything crazy that happened in our plays for each week. But this is kind of the epilogue here, or prologue, I mean. As we go to board the Temperance, we meet Mr. Templeton, who's standing outside of the ship. He is the crew's chief science officer and the incumbent representative of the mysterious benefactor. This dude is kind of a giant turd.
I should have brought my gun.
Yeah, I can't stand this guy, man. Yeah.
He's just, I can't.
He reminds me of like Littlefinger. That's who he reminds me of from Game of Thrones. He's just a sleazeball.
I could see that.
Did you guys get off on the wrong foot with him, so to speak? That comes up later for me, because next time I find him and talk to him once we like set sail, I'm like, I guess we can't get off on the wrong foot there, Mr. Templeton, because whatever I said, I didn't realize I was going to piss this dude off, but I pissed him off. I was like, okay, you're touchy. But I figured I had to finesse him a little bit better in the coming weeks.
Yeah, with him, I like to. He just basically gets mad at everything you say. And I've learned to just be like, you know what? I need some loyalty from Templeton. Maybe I'll appease him this week. But for the large part, everything I say makes this dude mad. So
yeah, it does seem that way. Yeah.
But side note, he's a botanist by trade. So kind of interesting to be on this expedition to the absolute magnetic south. Not sure what plants will be growing or finding, but
that's how I won his loyalty back. I was just on a whim. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna be interested in this book, bro." And he was like, "Right on, dude. You like this book? It's totally interesting." Like, okay, that was easy,
dude. So when I was talking to him, I made like one of the choices was you speak like you're in charge, and I said,
"So hostile."
And when you find yourself needing a scientist, we can try this again. I'm like, okay, douchebag. Screw you, dude.
he's a little touchy. So with the first week, one thing that I really like about this game that happens so often, it happens here in the first week. It's kind of you filling out your journal. And it kind of gives you a few sentences, and then you can, choose from a set of options to finish the prompt. So the Temperance is magnificent, but who's paying for this expedition? The modifications to the ship were not cheap. I intend to investigate further. As for Hunt, he seems to be hiding something, but maybe I'm too quick to judge. We have a crew of 22 with 4 to 5 more to be added when we hit the last port before setting sail. We're kind of also in this week, obviously, introduced to the gameplay loop, kind of how things work, the different stats and whatnot. So essentially the gameplay loop, you talk to the crew, you take the requests as the captain, then you assign the crew to certain tasks, and then eat dinner, talk to the crew again, end your week, rinse and repeat. There are 3 resources that we have to manage here. First, we have decorum, which basically is your crew's morale. If it reaches 0, the crew will tear itself apart and you will lose. Provisions, which are your food rations. If it hits 0, the crew becomes malnourished. If they're not fed, they'll catch scurvy. And then if they're not cured, they'll die. And then the last one is fuel, which is used to keep the crew warm. If this hits 0, the crew will start to freeze. The next week they'll get frostbite. If it's not cured, the following week they'll die. And then there's another resource, not dependent on your survival, but you get access to sledding dogs that you will use to do exploration and scouting when that time comes. So first off, how did you guys, after you hit week 1 here and you figured out the gameplay loop, like how did you guys feel about it? We'll start with you, Chad, since you're not used to this style of game. Like, what would you think with basically just talking? It's basically like a visual novel, essentially.
It really is. Yeah. That I think the one thing that I'm missing the most in this game is voice acting in any capacity. It's a lot of reading. But yeah, at first with the gameplay loop, I was kind of like, what the hell am I supposed to be doing? You know what I mean? I was just like doing stuff, and then eventually you could advance the week. And I was like, okay, I guess I did everything and can advance the week.
Right.
But yeah, I once I got into it, even though we'll see as we go through my notes here, this shit just went real sideways for me very early on. So yeah, it was a little more difficult than I was expecting.
What about you, Dad?
So this actually reminds me of like a glorified choose your own adventure type style book, which I loved those growing up. And I'm surprised I haven't played more of this style of game. But yeah, I mean, it got pretty brutal for me as well later on. Pretty quick. But no, I like the loop, and then there were a couple times where like I'm just kind of roaming around and realize, oh, I can end the week.
Yeah.
Just kind of like looking around, exploring to see like who else I could talk to, or just kind of like eavesdrop on, or just to kind of get the layout of the ship and see different places to go. Because there were a few encounters where if you're not looking, you could totally miss.
Right.
But I enjoyed
people's rooms and stuff. Yeah.
Yep. And you can just keep talking to people, and eventually they'll say, okay, I'd like to go to bed now. So leave me alone.
Yeah.
Especially the cook's brother, man. He's such a stiff.
Yeah.
Grimly.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He the accordion guy.
Yeah. Does not like us at all.
One day we have a normal conversation. The next day he's just like, piss off.
Yeah.
Basically, typical musician.
Welcome to Talking to Nick. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, true. That's why I want to be his friend. I feel him. I'm like, I get
we are one.
I understand you. But yeah, I like the getting into it early. Like the initial game play loop is good. I like it at this point.
So Nick, one, how do you feel? And two, when you go through a week, do you have a specific order that you do things in, or like how does it work? How does a week look for you?
Yeah, I usually like to exhaust as much as I can before I like advance anything, even like the eating part. I like to get as much done before we eat. Even that means like leaving the room. So I do that. Definitely, top everything off. Feed the hooch. Got to do that. Throw some coal in there. But yeah, no, it's a decent loop. I wish there was a little bit more. It's a crew of 22, and there's only ever 4 people at my door needing things. Like, let me go through 10 of these suckers. Let's piss some people off or make them happy. Right. But then I realized that really there's only 5 or so people that really matter. Everyone else just kind of votes with them once you get kind of to the voting mechanic.
Yeah.
So no, yeah, I used to try to get as much done as I can, and then advance it. Wrap up any kind of loose conversations after the meal is had. And then I think the last thing I do is I send out. Well, this is later. The whole deal with the dogs. Absolute end. So yeah, but no, it's pretty good. made it pretty well to week 10, end of week 10. We were supposed to go to end of week 10, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad. I was nervous suggesting this because it is
Different.
a unique game. But I'm glad that you guys are all enjoying it at least a little bit. Or thank you for humoring me. One of those two.
A mix of both.
Yeah. So my typical approach to a week, I'm still trying to figure out really the best way to do it. I'll go through exhaust like all conversations before heading to the captain's quarters to take the requests. Then after that, I'll go and assign tasks to people. Then once the scouting comes, I'll send teams out to scout, and then
there wasn't much of that in the first week, was there?
No, not in the first week.
No.
Okay.
Come together, eat, go listen to more conversations, and then advance.
It's definitely important, I think, to, even though like you try to get around it right away, I think it is best just to handle the captain's duties like right at the beginning, because you don't want to assign people out to things, so that locks them up, and you don't want to be like screwed into a conversation option because you don't have any buddy or enough people to assign. So I noticed that one time, and I was like, I better keep doing this first.
Yeah. That's that came and bit me in the butt like once or twice. I'm like, dang it, I accidentally assigned people, and now I really need that specific group of people to help with this, because some tasks can only be done by certain crew members. There's your basic crew. You have some engineers, you have some scientists, and you have some scouts. So sometimes, only certain jobs can be done by the engineer, et cetera, et cetera. If you accidentally assign them to a task, beforehand, like Nick was saying, then you're kind of out of luck there. But the first batch of requests here for week 1, we have 2. A stowaway is on board, and this is Little Runt, he's called, and he just snuck on, was hiding in the storage. Someone found him. He brings him to us and Captain Hunt, and basically they're like, what do you want to do with this guy? We could keep him on board. We could send him out at the next port and have him figure out his way home or whatever. I chose to drop him off at the next port with money to catch a ride back to the city. What'd you do, Chad?
I kept him on I kept him on board, and then the option comes up because this is somebody's father is on the ship. This character, so it gives you the option, like, what should we do about the rations and the pay? And I chose to split their pay between the two of them and their rations.
Dad,
I kept them aboard also.
Nick,
I'm right there with Chad. Kept them aboard, and they can split their rations.
Yeah, I was a little worried. I didn't want the extra mouth to feed, but with the extra mouth, you get an extra set of hands for tasks. So,
yeah.
Did you in fact get rid of him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get the heck out of here, kid.
I didn't know if they would. I saw that option. I was like, they're gonna trick me into keeping them anyway, so I'm just gonna keep
Nope.
them.
Yep.
Nope. But I wasn't ruthless. I gave him enough money to catch a ride back to the city. So, what's up, Dan?
I was just gonna say I also decided to split their pay and their rations.
That seems fair. I did that my first playthrough back earlier this year. So I was like, let's do something different.
Yeah.
The other request, we had Lady Cordell come. She's the kennel master. At this point, she's talking about this deal that she struck with Captain Hunt, and essentially it's for the use of her dogs for the dog sledding. I allow her to stay on board. Obviously, the sled dogs are invaluable. You got to have those guys. I assume you guys all let her on board. I kind of
wanted to see what would happen.
Yeah.
Once I got further into it, if you didn't let her stay on board, because
they're difficult.
Yeah.
That would be wild if there's like, all right, I guess you're just not gonna have sled dogs.
Yeah, right.
If they don't,
Which is a
like,
problem.
somehow force you to.
That or I noticed the sled dogs are very low maintenance from
Mhm.
like the player's perspective. So I wonder if they become very high maintenance and need like lots of fish and shit
Yeah.
to keep them happy. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, like I just like pop in, toss them
Yeah.
like some fish and make
Give
them
'em little
happy, and you
pets.
get like some back or something. It basically uh replenishes them a little bit, like interweek.
Oh,
So if
really?
you sign out, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Because I signed them all out, and I stopped by, threw some fish at them, and it gave me plus 2 more dogs. And I was able to do another run.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna have to try that next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just imagine they need a lot more attention if she's
Yeah.
not around.
Hmm.
I didn't want to risk it though. That seemed risky.
Yeah, that's why I said.
And
I
I
said
know
this
how I
seems
would feel.
necessary for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know how I feel if my dog was going off on an expedition. I'd have to go with old Hobbs for sure.
Old Hobble. We also meet the following crew: Kasha Belford. She is the photographer, journalist on board. Two Johns. He's just another crew member named John. Two Johns.
So that the photographer, was that like a choice as well there? Because like I scared the shit out of her. She almost fell. And
yeah,
then-
they
too.
give you a choice of
Oh.
like how to talk to her because she's
Mhm.
climbing on like the mast or something, trying to get a shot.
yeah.
But I don't think it has any sort of consequence or anything. Because yeah, the first time I did the same thing, and then this time I was just like, I'm just gonna let her come down. I'm not gonna say anything. But it didn't change really anything.
I gotcha.
But she's kind of becomes a somewhat important character, as we'll learn. We also meet Grimly Stoke. He is the accordion player, and Mr. Gloss, who is a member of Templeton's scientist team. When we talk to him here in week 1, he like misplaced a bottle of wine. He's like, "Hey, I swear I'm not like a drunkard or anything, but have you seen this bottle of wine? I may have misplaced."
Yeah. So did any of you guys go looking for that?
I don't remember any of this.
I don't remember.
No, did you guys not talk to? You guys didn't talk to anyone on the show?
I've only really remembered Templeton, and then the rest of them are just the Blue Boys, and I just kind of ignore them. I make them shovel coal occasionally.
Yeah.
That's about it. Because Templeton said they could. They wouldn't like it, but they would. And I was like, sounds
yeah.
right to me.
Did you help
Met,
him find it? Did you help him find it, Chad?
I couldn't find it. I couldn't
Yeah.
find. I looked everywhere. So
Yeah,
at least
no.
I thought,
Drink it.
obviously, and not everywhere because I didn't find it. But
Yeah, no, it's not something. I don't think it's something you can find.
gotcha. Okay.
But
It
drink it.
may pop up later.
Okay.
Dad, I can't tell if you're maybe about to sneeze, yawn, or say something.
I was just gonna say,
So
I met two Johns.
Yeah, two Johns.
He was carrying something, and you try to you offer him a handshake, and he loses control of the crate.
what are you referencing when you're with your squinty eyes? Is it like a playback of your game, or is it
his
I'm reading-
inability
I'm
to
trying
read? His poor eye vision is what he's referencing.
I just want to know, like, is there something in game I can pull up and review my actions? Or
No,
is
he
he
typed- he
or-
typed-
I actually did. I did actually record my playthrough and then put it into a program to have it transcribe it.
Sheesh.
That's
Yeah, he
intense.
went
I
full
went,
on,
I
like-
went old school notebook and pen.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know how far I got, but
We cover all
track.
spectrums of note taking on this podcast.
Yeah.
this is actually very cool because, for me with taking notes in games, I'm trying not to be removed from the game.
Right.
I'm trying to stay immersed as much as possible. So, since there is so much reading in this, I felt like it would just be easier for me to kind of bring myself back to where I need to be while I'm
Yeah.
squinting because I'm reading through me rambling. So I'm trying to
Yeah,
make sense of
So
myself.
what were you saying? Were you just saying stuff out loud and then it was recording it? Is that what you're saying? And then you put it into a transcriber? That's kind of cool.
Yep. So
So
through whatever it's called, where's it at? Streamlabs.
oh, gotcha.
You can record. So I did that, and then I dropped it into this other program.
Yeah, I just went the journal thing in game. I think I did that maybe the first week, and I think you can do it once a week, right?
I tried. It never lets me do it after the first week.
It pops up as if you're talking about like filling it out.
Yeah,
it's sporadic. It's
sporadic.
Not a weekly
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
You can go back and like look at your journal, and it'll give you a recap of the previous week of everything that happened. But the part where it's like, shows you writing, and then it's like, oh, which one do you want to choose? That's
I just felt like I was taking my own journal with my notes, so I was like, I don't really need to look at that thing.
There you go. We also meet Tashi, just another random crew member. And for me, after dinner, I overheard a conversation with Runt and his dad, Runt being the stowaway. And they're talking about how Runt was being sent back to the city. His dad agreed with our decision and would remain on board, even though we're sending his son away.
I'm wondering, is anybody else's character named Runt? Because mine's Timmy. I wonder if you only get the name if you keep him on the ship.
No, I think it's Timmy the Runt.
Timmy the Runt.
Oh,
Timmy the Runt, maybe. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know. Maybe you just didn't get his name because you were so brutally.
Yeah, just like get
out of here.
I'm a boat.
That would be crazy if one of the
That would be
options was
cool.
like just throw him overboard.
Yeah, just yeah.
When you end the week, you are prompted with like how you want to divvy up your rations between your fuel and your food. So you could do normal rations, which I think will cure somebody of freezing and malnourishment if you could just keep it on normal. You can cut it to half, and that usually, well, depending on the temperature of the week and stuff, it will cause freezing for a certain number of crew members, maybe cause malnourishment or demoralization for the food side. You could also do extra rations, and that will just cure more additional crew members. Those. So for the first week, I did half rations on fuel and food. Got to save stuff. I have a vague idea of what's coming. It's not going to be pretty. Got to save some stuff now. We can make up the decorum from the demoralized crew members. We're on week 1, baby. So yeah, I did that. I lost 20 decorum, but I think I'm going to be able to build it back up. How'd you guys end your week? Start with you, Chad.
Yeah, I did normal for both rations and fuel, which is the middle one, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So I did normal on that. I did not write down what it did to my decorum, though. I think
it'll stay the same.
Or stays the same, yeah.
100.
Yeah. What about you, Dad?
Halvesies.
Nice, Nick.
Halvesies as well. I like to ride around 80 decorum just because I know it'll pop back occasionally or get run down,
Yeah.
See, this is my first misstep. We're already starting week 1.
We don't want the crew to be too comfortable.
Right. Yeah, it's about to get rough.
It's about to get real bad.
Yeah.
We know.
So
we don't know.
Week 2 starts with a knock on our cabin door, and it is the one and only Kurt Darling, the ship's navigator,
K-Dog.
film celebrity, larger than life personality. And he's like telling us we got to get up on deck. We got a sight to see. So we run out there while, I'm making my way up top. I met Mrs. Gloss, which is Mr. Gloss, the scientist who was looking for the wine bottle. His wife, fellow member of the scientist team. Another crew member named Lefty. And when I get up top, Kurt's like, look at it. Isn't it beautiful? we finally have made it to the ice. But in its beauty, Kurt is sensing maybe we need to change direction because the ice might be getting too thick sooner than we might imagine. So he's saying, maybe we need to talk to Captain Hunt and think about changing direction a little bit. Anything interesting happened for you guys before you started to take requests or anything like that? Did you guys just go straight to Captain's
Straight to
quarters?
requests. Yeah.
Same seas.
I see Dad intently
I'm
read.
trying to read through my banter.
Novel.
Do you need
His
glasses?
novel that he wrote.
I also
probably
love
do need
how
glasses.
he's kind of got like the Home Improvement neighbor
Yeah.
look going.
You always see over him, Mike.
I love it. All right, so we head to the captain's quarters, and it's time to take requests. The first one we have Hammond. He's our chief engineer.
My boy.
Bubbly personality, man. This guy is just a real treat. He's asking for help with the boilers now that we've hit the ice, and you'll see this is a repeating theme with old Hammond. Gotta tend to the boilers. I mean, he's got a point because if you don't, you're gonna turn into an ice cube. But he's asking for help with the boilers, so I gave him 2 Johns. Did you guys assign any crew to help him? And if so, do you remember how many?
I gave him, it's like at least 2, but max 4. I think I gave him 4. I gave him 2 Johns, the runt's dad, and then like one other person. So I was like, yeah, that boiler, you do you, dog. You got whatever you need. And he liked me for it.
I feel like you and Hammond would just be 2 peas in a pod, Nick.
I'm pretty sure by week 10 he's loyal to me. Like we're boys. Like I can joke with him.
Yeah. What'd you do, Dad?
I actually gave him the same people. 2 Johns,
No way.
Run's dad, and Ward.
Wow.
With 1 arm. That was.
Yeah. I think I gave him one. I think he bitched because I think he complained because it was like he'll be useless. He gave me the kid or whatever.
One bloody arm.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But you gotta ride it where he's like, I need like 4. I'm like, all right, I'll give you 4.
Nice.
Kinda
I was just
2
like,
and a
yeah,
half.
you can have 1. Yeah. What'd you do, Chad?
I gave him 2, Timmy, the runt, and his father.
Nice. Popular.
Like
popular
no
men
free
in the
rides
boilers.
here, bro. Like if you're staying on the boat, you're gonna get to work.
You're gonna work.
Hey, at least they're warm, right?
Which he might complain about later.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next person needing a request was Kasha. She is the journalist and photographer. She is asking for individual photos of the crew members that she can use for her report and the ship's manifest. I say yes, go for it, and get +6 decorum score. We're heading in the right direction, guys. Did you guys okay the individual photos?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
This actually helps us later on.
Yeah.
It's a nice feat of decorum, like every week. Steady trickle.
And it helps the
demoralized.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Next up
makes me wonder. It's gotta be more than just a photo being taken down there.
Yes, they're talking, Nick.
Well, you
They're
can walk
talking.
in there and they're just sitting there, and if you try to talk to her or whatever, she's like, "Oh yeah, what else happened?" or whatever she says. That's interesting. What else can you tell me about that situation?
I don't like what you're insinuating, Nick.
What's going on?
I'm just saying. I mean, maybe they're playing like a board game or something.
playing doctor.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Maybe that needs to happen with the actual doctor. I mean, that dude's tense, dude. Anyways, so for me, the next one was Corvid, and he lets me know that the crew is not happy that I sent Runt back.
Ooh.
That's interesting.
especially his dad. So that +6 decorum quickly turned into a -10 decorum. So
Ouch.
kicked right in the shins.
So the dad's happy with your decision, but the crew is like, "What a bastard!"
No, his dad agreed, but was not happy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't. I guess I don't walk that
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
If I agree with that, I have to be happy with it.
I don't know. I think
I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but I accept whatever Don Glover says in Solo.
did you guys have another request? Because you guys all kept Runt on, right?
Corvid actually comes in.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
What did he say for you guys then?
He said something like that we asked for a report on how the Runt was doing, see if he was settling in well, and he has. It means another mouth to feed, but he works hard and doesn't ask much.
Yep.
Yep.
Did you guys get anything? Maybe a decorum boost to my decorum.
Maybe
14?
a decorum boost, but
14, I think.
14, yeah.
Whoa.
Plus 14 decorum, yep.
Holy cow.
I mean, like 120 decorum.
Oh, you can go over 100?
No, you can't.
No.
Okay, I was gonna say that. I mean, that's why I got
Bonus
rid of
points.
20. Yeah.
Overachiever over here.
Yeah. So after the requests are finished, Hunt mentioned maybe changing route isn't such a terrible idea, but Kurt, he would have to be the one searching for a new one. After requests, for me, I met Flick. He's one of Kurt's scouts, or she is one of Kurt's scouts, the gymnast. Ended up assigning her up in the Crow's Nest, which is a new assignable task. We also meet Arthur Nutley, who is the doctor. Well, we don't know that at this point, but spoiler alert, he's a doctor. He's the guy who's seasick. Below deck, I met Yorick the Third, one of the scouts, and Quilsley, one of the scouts. We also meet Gnomes. He seemed kind of suspicious leaving the pantry, by the way. So I was going in to the pantry, and he's like scurrying out like a cockroach or something. But he's like, I promise I'm just setting up a practical joke. I'm not stealing food, I promise.
And it's definitely not at your
super
expense.
suspicious.
Yeah. I'm just like, this is kind of weird. But we meet Junior. He's the cook, the second Stoke brother, Grimley. We met earlier. He's the accordion player. Here we learn about the feeding the hoosh mechanic. Before dinner every week, you can dump food items into the hoosh pot, and that will, of course, raise your food ration total. Did you guys do anything before dinner?
Just that stuff that you said, yeah.
So after dinner, we meet some more of the crew: Tucker, Cavity, Grips, and Dick. 2 engineers, 2 regular crew.
You gonna talk about what happened in the pantry?
No, what happened?
Are you getting to that?
No, what happened?
So you walk into the pantry because the cook asks us to get some tins from the pantry.
Mm-hmm.
Go in, and a bag of flour drops on our head, all over our uniform.
That did not happen to me.
Did not happen for me.
Oh yeah, it happened to me. Yeah.
That must have been the practical joke, huh?
Yeah, that's why I said it's not at your expense, though.
Right. Yeah.
He totally set us up, and I fell for it.
Yeah.
I didn't even get that. I didn't even get the whole like.
Did you go in the pantry at all?
I had to get the hooch.
Okay, so
maybe it only happens if you talk to him.
Maybe this is what happened. I went into the pantry before talking to him about feeding the hoosh pot. And
me too.
And since I went in before and grabbed a can, I didn't go in after I talked to the cook. Right. So maybe Jeff did both. Okay. Did you do both then too, Chad?
Yes.
Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same
That's
thing.
what it was. Interesting. So you guys are all a big old mess now.
Yeah.
Everyone laughed at you guys. Plus 10 decorum.
Yeah.
130.
Jeff's at like 200 decorum right now.
That's right. You just
Uh,
gonna need it.
For me, I since I'm bleeding decorum now, I decided to stick with normal rations. Didn't want the crew to get too sad yet. So, but at this point, even with going half rations one week and normal the next week, we're already almost out of food and fuel. So, how'd you guys finish your week?
Same as
I
the first for me.
believe
Normal.
Yep.
I halved one, normaled another. I think I half food, kept the boiler cooking. So
Nice.
And I wasn't really. Were you struggling with rations at this point? I wasn't. This early, I wasn't really struggling at all because you can get the tins and throw them in there, and it keeps it up.
Yeah, I
When you
didn't
feed
write
that
down.
hooch, I didn't write down the numbers specifically, but I know I wasn't struggling. I really wasn't struggling through a whole of it. It was other things I was being challenged with.
Yeah,
at least
I didn't write down.
At least at your time on the ship.
Yeah,
shit gets real hairy after that. But
yeah, all I wrote down is I was already nearly out of fuel and food, so I must have been. Coming up to week 3, I just went straight to requests, and this time we go in the captain's quarters, and Hunt's not there. He's missing. Yeah.
There was some other stuff I did before I continued.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Let's hear it.
So, there were 2 sailors passing by from the dinner table, one inebriated. They were just chatting. The one tells the other, you need to learn to handle your drink, Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, I'm fine. My mates can carry me. And I was going through the different places, knocking on doors. No one would respond to me. I went to the forecastle where the dogs are. She offered me some soup. Burned my mouth on the hot broth.
I think I did all that too.
Okay. And I met Stanberry.
I like Stan. Yeah, Stan. He's good. Good boy.
She basically tells me that the dogs are fine. They adapt quickly. And she's more of a dog person than a people person.
Yeah. She's not the most personable of the lot, that's for sure.
She chilled with the dogs.
There were some engineers on deck saying that Hammond doesn't like to eat, or that they've never seen him eat. Because
it will learn rather quick. It will learn rather quickly why that is.
Then that's it. Next week.
Nice.
Habsies on the rations and the fuel.
So week 3 starts. Hunt's missing, but we got to blast through these requests. So let's go solo. Well, first off, we were given the option of either waiting for Hunt to get back or to just go through the requests by ourselves. So what'd you guys do? I decided to just take the reins.
Done, man.
Yeah. Get to work.
First mate. I got a job to do. That's everything.
Yeah.
So, okay. This is week 3 we're starting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you guys said earlier that you could assign people and then you don't get requests, because I don't have any requests on week 3. I get stuck in the ice is the first thing. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
I don't
happens.
have any. Okay.
Yeah, so we're given the option to begin taking requests or wait for Hunt. And as soon as you make your choice, the boat starts to shake.
Gotcha.
And you run out and you're stuck. You're wedged into the ice. And because of that, we're like, okay, well, let's go find Hunt. This seems like something the captain should know about.
And then,
Yeah. So we walk around. Kasha, she says that she saw Hunt looking for Grimly, talking about the lifeboats, which seems mighty suspicious. In the lower deck, Grimly says that we just missed Hunt, which seems weird because on our way there, we didn't pass him or anything. And we make our way into the boiler room, and Hammond and Templeton are talking, should we say. And of course, checking on the status of the boiler. Templeton doesn't know where Hunt is either, and one of the Stokes brothers also says that we just missed him. So Hunt is apparently a ghost now, but still on the ship, but just always out of reach for us. What was kind of going through your guys' mind as you know you're trying to track down Hunt and he keeps narrowly missing us?
Yeah, this is kind of where I got a little suspicious of him. It is primarily the lifeboat thing, which I thought was bizarre that he's worrying about the lifeboat. But yeah, I don't know. He was like, what a flip of a coin, man. He was like the captain, right? Like the dude. And then we're on week 3 and he's like, dude,
I'm out of here.
Done.
So basically Nick with our Tomb Raider Patreon series.
Truth.
Yes. So all this is happening. I'm just like, whatever. Let's feed the hoosh. Let's get dinner going. After dinner,
gotta keep routine going.
That's right. Nothing out of the ordinary, fellas. Let's eat some dinner. After dinner, the Stokes brothers, they're chatting. Junior said Hunt's cabin door was locked when he checked. Suspicious. When we get to the cabin, Templeton's in there. That we're now to the captain's quarters again. Templeton's in there, and Hunt is drunk in the bathtub, where any self-respecting captain would be, of course.
Yep.
He goes on a rant of epic proportions, and among his rant, he says, no one even knows we're out here on this expedition. Templeton, he's like, okay, that's not going to leave the room.
Yeah.
No one's coming.
And after he goes on more about our benefactor, or should we say Templeton's employer, how we're chasing ghosts out here, he just passes out in the bathtub.
Yep.
So yeah,
my note for this conversation literally just says WTF, Captain Drunk and hiding something. So that's the vibe I was getting. Like, I don't know what's up with this dude,
bastard.
But we now know why he's not eating. We now know why he's not eating anything, because he's drunk all the time, and drunk people don't eat.
Yeah,
it's a fact.
I like to eat when I'm drunk.
Well, let me rephrase that. Alcoholics don't eat. They just drink.
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not alcoholic. I like food.
Yeah, that's the telltale sign right there.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is all getting very interesting. And I mentioned this actually on our last episode of Showboys. Playing this game, if you want something great to watch while you're playing this, because I know, Chad, you like to immerse yourself in these little bubbles. The Terror Season 1, you should be able to find it on Hulu.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's essentially this game. It's amazing. And that's all I think about when I play this game. I'm like, man, I want to watch The Terror again.
The Terror.
It's such a great show.
With Jared Harris.
Jared Harris is in it. That's all you need to know.
And who's the other guy? He's pretty notable. He's in a ton of stuff.
Yeah. I have no idea what his name is, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah. He is in it. That's for sure. Anyways, we go back to our room, and when we wake up, it's like green and crazy looking. Hammond's pounding on the door because guess what? The boiler, it's not in good shape, guys. So we need to go find Hunt ASAP and let him know. But when we come out, like, the screen is like such a cool little scene here. The colors are awesome. The boat and the ice. It's just really, really, really cool. And yeah, I don't know. This game is just beautiful. I love all of the different scenes and stuff. It's just,
dude, for being you said this was like a YouTube channel that made a games, or a dude that ran a YouTube channel that made it. It's pretty impressive. I didn't know that. Like, I thought this was just like a indie studio. I mean, it's the first game.
It's wild because, like, while he was doing his YouTube thing, he was like in college for this, apparently, or like just starting this studio. And I had no idea that was a thing. And then all of a sudden I was like looking up, I think maybe the soundtrack or something, because the soundtrack's really great. I love the music in this game. And I saw his like mug up on like a thumbnail for this channel, and I was like, oh, oh my gosh, the names, they're the same. Holy crap. This is great. And then I watched some like making of, and I was like, holy cow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch this stuff for Warcraft. He had a good channel for sure.
Yeah, that was good.
He still does it, I think. I'm looking.
Yeah. When we get back up to the captain's cabin, of course, Hunt is missing again, and this time Templeton's there with Hammond and I, because Hammond and I were trying to find Hunt, let him know about the boiler. In Hunt's absence, I'm asked to step into the role of captain and lead and calm the crew. And when this happens, we're kind of given the choice to either rush down to the boiler with Hammond, or speak with the crew and, kind of let them know we got this under control. Everything's fine. No need to worry. I chose to rush down to the boiler. Is that what everyone did? I know Nick's like basically Hammond 2.0, so he lives in the boiler room.
Let's go.
Not good. Negative 15 decorum. I'm hurting now.
Because you didn't go down to the boiler room?
No, I did go down to the boiler room, get negative 15 decorum, because Templeton wants you to talk to the crew.
He wants you to calm he wants you to calm everybody down. But dude, I don't care. Like, if you're gonna be sad, I don't care. I'm not gonna make you happy. Like, we got
but in
major
Mike's
problems.
Situation,
this is a huge problem.
He's been pretty beat up on decorum. So us, I didn't care. I forgot I got a decorum hit there because I didn't care. Mike,
he's struggling already.
Yeah. I'm like, so I had negative 20 the first week.
Yeah.
And then negative 4 the second week, because my negative 10 was offset by the plus 6. And then this week I'm at negative 15. So I'm like in the 70s. What's that? Yeah. So we rush down to the boiler, and we have to manage the pressure because things leaking and all this stuff. It's kind of cool. You have to like assign people to the different valves and whatnot. While this is going on, though, I lost 30 fuel. So at this point, I'm at 10 out of 100 fuel now. And Grimly comes to the rescue. He brings some more crew to help stabilize everything. I end up assigning 3 crew to bring in coal and 3 crew to manage the valves in the boiler room. The water hammer hits. One of the crew member gets like a gnarly steam burn. He gets injured. But in all of this, we end up saving the ship, and I got plus 20 decorum. So feeling good.
Yeah.
We're rebounding here. The crew end up asking about Hunt, and Junior says he's gone. Is that kind of what played out for you guys, or did anything different happen?
That was exactly it for me.
Yep.
I didn't write down what crew member, because at this point I didn't know that you could like pull up all your crew members and look through who's injured, and it flashed by so quickly on the screen that I didn't write it down. But I did get one crew member hurt from the water hammer.
Okay. I'm gonna pause this real quick. For any baseball fans that may be patrons, the worst umpire maybe in the history of the major leagues. is retiring. Angel Hernandez is retiring. Rejoice. Literally the worst umpire in existence to call balls and strikes. Time in. Sorry, had to get the ESPN notification just popped up. Sorry. So what were you gonna say, Nick? Everything happened that way for you?
No. Yeah, everything that seems right for me as well.
Okay. After this happens, it's the end of the week. I did normal food rations, but I have no fuel, so I got -20 decorum. So there goes my balance for saving the ship.
Great.
Sorry, I walked away from my desk, but I was still able to hear you. So why'd you go through so much fuel again? Were you already low? Like, why are you? I don't know.
I was at.
I don't get
40
why.
out of
I don't get how
100.
you're low either. Yeah.
I don't know.
Are you not throwing the? Are you not grabbing the coal and throwing the coal in every time?
No, the thing is, I have been. I must not have been warming the ship, but I was collecting the coal.
Gotcha. That's it.
So I was at 40 out of 100. Ended up losing 30 during that ordeal. So it was at 10 by the end of the week, and then I couldn't heat the ship.
Well, we'll see. That might pan out
Yeah.
halfway decent for you though, because I'm like in the later weeks, I struggle with the coal because I was feeding it, I wasn't stashing it.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Yeah. No. It things turn around a little bit towards the end of the 10 weeks here. But yeah. I also lost 10 loyalty with Hammond for some reason, even though I just helped him save his boiler. I finished the week. This is after this week, I finally started to write down what I finished the week with, like supply wise. So after week 3, I'm at 61 decorum.
Oh boy.
0 fuel and 4 food.
0 fuel.
And 4
Holy
food,
crap.
guys. 4 food.
Dude, that is like, dude, I don't understand how you're even doing
you
that.
have it, right? You're just not.
You're not using
in,
it.
right?
Yeah.
So in your inventory, you have a boatload of coal and like food.
Okay. Well, I think I've been feeding the hoosh somewhat, but obviously not enough. But the coal, I do have some. So I do have some coal. But anyways,
I wonder what happens if you don't have enough coal to like save the boiler, if that matters. I don't know. Or like I wonder if there's a situation where the boiler does blow, because
there's definitely fail states in this game for sure, and we'll talk about that in later weeks for me. So it's probably a situation like that where you'll have to go back.
You didn't get off the boat quick enough, did you?
No, sure didn't. Sure didn't.
Oh man. So how'd you guys finish up week 3? Were you guys still doing decent? Am I the only one suffering at this point?
Yeah, I think you are, dude. I was think virtually maxed on everything.
I think my fuel was starting to go down. But everything else was still pretty decent.
Okay. So we start up week 4. Hunt is still missing, along with a few other crew members. I don't know if that's strictly for my gameplay with my terrible decorum, or if you guys had three crew members. Yeah.
Yep.
Along with a sizable food and fuel supply, which sorry guys, I didn't have much for you to steal. But
they went to your pockets and took it.
Yeah. So they took some food, some fuel, and one of the larger lifeboats. And so that sucks. We lose 3 crew members. And on top of that, in order for us to officially replace Hunt as the captain, the crew needs to vote. And Templeton thinks we should just about make the cut. He says that we need to maintain decorum, RIP, and that a rescue ship is on its way. Though that was kind of interesting to hear him say that, because, last time we talked with Hunt, he was like, nobody knows we're out here. So, either Hunt was talking crazy talk, or, Templeton is lying to us here.
Yeah.
So Yeah, the rescue ship will arrive in about 35 weeks at Viscount Island. So we got to make our way there somehow. And before the vote, when we win the vote, I should say, if you win the vote, you are given Hunt's old captain hat. I ended up winning the vote somehow, even with terrible decorum.
Plot armor.
I won 10-8 with 5 crew abstaining from vote. Was it similar for you guys?
Mine was.
It was 10-8 in favor of me, and then 5 people didn't vote.
10-8.
10-8.
Yeah.
No, mine was closer.
It should have been 10-9.
Mine was 1 vote also. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, so even though everyone's
the
sad,
photographer came in and flipped it.
Oh, okay. So somehow I ended up interesting, or I just wrote it down wrong. But
Kasha,
I wonder, can you fail this
she's my
vote?
girl. I don't know. I would say I don't. I mean,
because I feel like I didn't do a lot of trying to get people on my side before the vote.
But it's kind of set up that you have to. Like,
it's really like you just have to get, like Nick was saying earlier, there's like figureheads for each type of crew essentially, and if you can get their loyalty and their vote, then all of their
you have the navigator by a long shot. Because also, Chad, if you remember to pop open your manifest, like the navigator dude loves the shit out of you. At least to me, like he was maxed. He was maxed loyalty the first time I looked. I'm like, oh, what did I do? I talked to you. So he's easy. Templeton, like I think he's like a flip with the scientists. I can't remember how they voted the first time. So obviously the cook and his brother are hard, and Hammond and the dog lady are like loyal to themselves or something like that.
Yeah.
So
So after we win the vote, it's request time. First one to come in is Kurt and Cordell. And they pitch sending scout teams with the use of the dog sleds, the dogs, and of course our crew members to start charting the ice around us and, you know, maybe find some game to hunt. Of course, I agree. Yes, Dan.
At this point, well, before that, like right after the vote, Templeton wants us to lie.
Yeah, I wrote this down as well.
And say that he's dead, that that Hunt's dead.
That's true. I forgot to write that down.
I did not lie to
Me
them.
either.
I also, I did not lie.
Now, I don't know if I... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I like straight up said he wasn't dead or if I was just like, yeah, we don't really know. Because I think they have like, you can say he's dead, you can say he's not, and then something in the middle.
Yep. I wrote down memorial service. It's weird the way it shakes out because you don't lie to the crew about him being dead, but then it asks you about a memorial service for him, and you can choose either to do it or to do it once you're free from the ice, and that's what I picked was the free from that. Once we get free from the ice, we'll have a memorial service. And then I got pissy with Templeton and told him to not ever undermine me again.
Mm-hmm.
Little bitch. Yeah, little bitch. I can't stand him.
Yeah, I had a similar experience there. I heard the options and I was like, I'm not going to think about this because I'm just going to have to feel this one out. So like I was writing that middle line options of like not lying, but not like completely saying what was going on. But then, right in like the moment, I'm like, well, yeah, I'm not just going to straight up lie to him. Templeton.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's not really lying because we don't know if he's dead or not.
True.
So yeah, I think we all did the same thing. Did you do that also, Dad?
Yeah. Well, I brought it up and I said I didn't lie.
Yeah.
My bad.
You're good.
So we all, of course, agree for the dog sleds. Hammond, he comes in. Basically, everything's going to kill us. So assign some people to shovel some coal. Let's make Hammond happy. Also, you need the coal. So we do that.
You need the
You
coal.
need the coal. We're good.
Well, no, I need to
Oh, you need
use
to get
the
it
coal.
in. Yeah, you need to use the coal, right?
Junior comes up. He says the crew, they want to attempt to break the ice to free the ship. And while it's a useless task, it might raise some decorum. So in my state, of course, I assigned 3 people to meaninglessly try to pick the ice around the ship. Hopefully nothing bad happens. Well, let me tell you what happens. I got -5 loyalty with Templeton, but I did get 5 loyalty with Junior and +9 decorum. So we're on the rebound, guys. Nick, I saw you raising your hand, man.
I was just thinking, but then I thought about it a little bit more, and I don't think, like, at first I was wondering, is there a way that you can get through around the ice, like a different route? Because if you bring
That's
up
what I was curious about. Yeah, because there's a point where I think it was the thing we asked about the boiler where we all assigned 2, or I assigned 2. I was wondering if I assigned 4 there, if you maybe it was another week until you got stuck in the ice or something.
No, because Nick did assign 4, right?
Yeah, and you got stuck too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think like
it's like
when
inevitable though. But
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was like, is there just like a different point which you get stuck later and you don't just like get stuck?
I
week
don't
4.
I want to say no because Kurt mentions changing course, but I don't know if we have any
I couldn't find anything
option to like get Hunt to actually change course outside of him being like, yeah, we should think about that, and then that's the furthest it goes. But yeah, you're right. If you look at the map and zoom out, you're basically just like in a circle of ice that you could have just, if you just maybe turned at like a 15-degree angle, you probably could have missed.
Avoided. Yeah.
Whoops.
So yeah, we sicked 3 crew out on the ice. Before calling the crew for dinner, Templeton suggests sending a scouting crew out and going and taking a visit to the old dock to see how he's doing. So I sent my 3 scouts out. So there's some obvious mechanics here with the scouting thing, and one mechanic that I didn't realize until this playthrough. So we'll talk about this here as I kill a gnat. The obvious thing, you can send a scout, and then there's little nodes on the map when you're looking at the screen. You send your scout out there to uncover a node. It'll either unlock 2 additional nodes to explore, or some sort of hunting thing will pop up that's like a seal or fish, or a little flag will pop up. I never realized what the flags were until this run, but if you send scientists out to the flags, you can get research points, which apparently you want to finish the game with high research points. I think that's the only use for them, unless you guys know of anything. But those are
that's it. Yeah.
Those are the 2 different scouting mechanics. You can send scientists out to get research points at the flag icons, or you can send out any other crew to hunt at the seal or fish icons to get some more food for you. So I sent 3 scouts out. I found some crab eater seals and 2 research points, but unfortunately, I sent the scientist out for the seals, not realizing the whole research thing. So I couldn't actually research anything. I went down and visited the dock. Old Nutley's a tough nut to crack. Basically every dialogue option I ever do with this guy, I lose loyalty, even though so yeah, I lost 5 loyalty by asking if he was the doctor. I'm just like, dude, I'm just trying to get to know you.
Yeah,
bro.
right. What the hell, dude?
Simple question.
I lost another 5 loyalty for asking if there was anything else he could do for the steam burn for our downed crewmen. But I was able to gain 5 loyalty back by telling him I was going to need his help. So apparently he just needs some confidence boosters or something.
Yeah.
No, you can't confidence boost him because that's what he gets pissed off about. Because like there's something later on where it's like, oh, don't worry, like you'll figure it out or something, and it's like negative loyalty. It's like, okay, you won't figure it out.
Yeah, never mind.
Like,
You
Negative
won't figure it out,
loyalty.
suffer,
dick.
suffer in pain, you
You
abysmal bastard.
just slap him. Maybe he's into
You
into
like
that.
ask him if he's had experience with certain things, and he's like, no, and then or yeah, and then it's -5 loyalty. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You can't assume anything about this guy. Just let him be an empty
Yeah.
shell.
Miserable.
Exactly. And then we talked to Kasha, and she says that nobody saw Hunt leave, but she doesn't think anyone. Okay, sorry. She said that none of the crew say that they saw Hunt leave, and she doesn't think that anyone's lying, but she thinks it's really, really odd that he would be able to leave and nobody see him leave.
Right.
Well, the crew that saw him are the ones that left with him.
That's true. But we can't talk to them, so we still don't know what's going on here. Were your pre-dinner happenings pretty similar, or did they go any different for you guys?
Same for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So feed the pot, have dinner, and had several conversations. I basically gained loyalty with Junior for complimenting his cooking, Grimly for asking if he had tips for getting on the crew's good side, Hammond for complimenting him on his hard work to keep us warm. Just literally, you say anything to Kasha and she loves you. I lost 5 loyalty with Templeton because you basically say anything to that guy and he hates you. Can't stand him.
It's true.
I gained loyalty with Nutley for being proud that he hasn't lost his focus.
Yep.
You just talk to Kurt. He loves you. And then I gained loyalty with Cordell for telling Stanberry that he'd be captain if I were to die.
Did you give him your hat?
I did on the first playthrough. Did anyone else?
I did, yeah.
What happened?
Yep.
He rips it apart.
Yep.
Well,
And you lose loyalty with someone. I can't remember who it is when that happens.
Probably the Stoke brothers, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
when you become captain, what did you guys do with the hat? I think there's an option to wear it.
Yeah.
I didn't
Not
take
wear
yeah,
it. And
don't take it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I put that bad boy on.
I put it right on.
I didn't take it, I don't think. Or I took
But
it.
wasn't that before? So the reason I didn't
Yeah.
take it was because it's before the vote that you're voting in the captain, I believe. So I was like, I don't want the crew seeing me assuming that they're going to vote me in to be captain with the captain's hat on. So
You just got to assert your dominance. You don't need any vote.
And then get thrown overboard.
Yeah. Yep. But luckily we have Stanberry. So I decided to go with high rations for fuel because shocking because I had a ton of coal because I hadn't been using it. So I got plus 20 decorum. So even with filling the boiler all the way up and getting 100% fuel rations, I still had 3 coal left over. Went with normal food rations. I ended with 90 decorum, 28 fuel. That doesn't make sense because I just filled it up. Yeah, okay, that must be wrong. And 16 food, but I have 3 crab eater seals about to be brought back at the end of the week. So, how'd you guys end? Good. Nothing's fallen apart yet.
Not
I
yet.
wrote food supplies low, fuel's good.
Nick, you've been quiet. You're just sitting pretty still.
Yeah, so I was trying to remember because I think this is week 5, right?
4.
Going into
4?
week
Okay.
5, yeah.
Yeah, going into week 5. I think I might have bumped food here because nope. Well, we're stuck in the ice. So did you guys start busting into the rooms yet down below?
Not yet.
No,
Not yet. I
Is that
should. I
locked?
should have.
Or
I don't
you
think it's
that's
started yet.
that's not available yet.
Okay. Then maybe no. I think
Oh,
I
yeah.
might have kept
That's-
this at normal then.
This happens at week 5. Oh,
Yeah.
so I'm sitting here thinking I filled the fuel up to 100, but because I used extra fuel, it knocked me down to
it
like
burns you
28
down.
out
Yeah,
of
yeah.
100.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like really confused. Yeah, so now we're up to week 5, halfway there, guys. We start with requests. Junior, he's reporting back from the crew attempting to break the ship free of ice. I'm just like imagining that in my head, like 3 people trying to.
Yeah, chipping away at this ice.
It makes them feel better.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
whatever. Might keep you warm. But obviously no progress is made, but we get 6 decorum because they felt at least they tried. Kasha, she just, bleeds loyalty for us. We say hi, she gets 5. She tells us though that she's less fascinated why we're on the expedition and more fascinated on the who of the expedition. She wants to conduct interviews with their crew in their downtime. I allow it. I get another 5 loyalty, but this is that mechanic that we talked about earlier. If you start to get any sad crew, they turn into sad boys like me and Jeff when we have a guitar strapped on us. If you go and send them to be interviewed with Kasha, it'll cure them of their demoralization.
Correct.
Gnomes, he comes. He says that he heard we might have to take to the ice soon. So he suggested that we search the rooms in the lower deck for tools and resources. So this is what Nick was just talking about. Another new mechanic on the ship here.
Yeah.
Mr. Gloss comes in. He says some of the crew are interested in the radios the science team has and think that we might be able to pick up help with the radios. Templeton and Gloss, they don't think that we're going to be able to really do anything with them. But I assigned the science team to monitor the radios and get +4 decorum, and now I'm sitting pretty at 100% finally.
Wow. I got +18 decorum.
I might have been like close to like at 96 out of 100 or something.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Okay.
maybe that's what it was. This got us 5 loyalty with Junior, but of course -5 with Templeton. And now Mr. Gloss is demoralized.
Yep.
Because he lost his wine. Now he's having to sit and listen to static on the radio. But this introduces, the demoralized status. And at the end of the week, for each demoralized crew member you have, you get -5 decorum. And this can, of course, be cured by talking to Kasha. Did you guys do some exploring in the rooms below after the requests?
Yep.
Yeah. Nick, what'd you find?
I did 2 of them. I think I did the 2 on the top side. I think there's 6, but you can really only realistically, I think, get to like 4, given the time. I mean, I guess you could blow them all open, but like someone freezes every time you do it.
Yeah.
So I did I think it was the food one, and maybe was it food, weapons, a general, and engineers. Engineers and food is what I did.
Do you remember what you got out of there?
The first one was just pretty straightforward. It was really just getting food and then like one like I don't know what they call them, like ship modifiers, crew modifiers or something that come in handy.
They some of these rooms have some key items that give you like certain perks.
Yeah, the food one only had 1 key item, and then the engineer room had 2 key items, and I scooped those up right and promptly. But yeah, I found that pretty important.
But you did. Did you find anything?
So I went to the weapons. I got the
RPG,
hunting rifle,
And the tank.
and a grenade launcher. No, I got the hunting rifle, and I think it was a shotgun.
Yeah,
Damn.
I think that sounds right.
Stay strapped.
So I got both of those. and I think I'm trying to remember. My notes died a long time ago.
So now you're squinting for a different reason.
Yeah.
Trying to see the words in your
Go
mind.
back through the week. I think I actually did all of them. I got the research one
Dang.
that helped with the research. Everyone froze.
Yeah, I was gonna
Everyone's
say, half your
frozen.
crew right there is just frozen
I,
and frostbitten.
I threw a bunch of coal in the boiler and helped those boys out.
Well, that's right. You can also ask Hammond to pump the heat too.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
cure extra
You
You got
people.
it. Yep.
It cures one freezing or two people are freezing.
I think
something
it's
like that.
per person you assign to it. I
Yeah.
forget. Is it something like that? Yeah.
Something like that.
Do you remember what you found, Chad? If you
Yeah.
explored?
Yeah, so I went into the weapons. I got the bolt action rifle, and I think there was a pistol. I got the pistol. Can't remember the second one. And then the food pantry, I grabbed the canned lemons or whatever cures scurvy,
Mhm.
and then the tinned food or whatever. Because I think the other option is like expired food or something,
Boiled.
which can be
Boiled.
which can cause so. Pick those two, but yeah, I hate that mechanic. Like, I just hate that I'm like, you're setting somebody up. At least in my this became a problem for me. These people that were freezing, so I was like trying to be selective with who I sent down there.
Well, I think that's something that's really cool about this game. It's like everything you do has some sort of repercussion.
Yeah.
Which is cool but very stressful. But I mean, it makes sense if you're sending someone into like a half submerged room full of icy water. Obviously, they're going to be freezing. But yeah, it definitely makes you think hard about if you're going to be like Dad and send your entire crew to search these and have everyone turn into Mr. Freeze, or if you're going to
I warmed them back up. It's cool. It's good.
I ended up going and grabbing the engineering tools, which increases the freezing cured by 1 when you raise the heat. And I got 2 stacks of coal. And because of that, 2 Johns, he's a cold boy. I only explored the 1 room. I sent 3 scouts out, got some smaller penguins, Adele, whatever. The smaller penguins. Adele. Yeah. Hello. So
we all know who Adele is.
Yeah. Fed the guys dinner. Did you guys do anything before dinner time? Do you do any scouting? What happened? Tell me. I would love to hear it.
Yeah. Definitely scouting. Got lucky with the penguins and the seals as well. And
seals.
Yeah. That was before I realized there's flags. And I was just going after the shiny food.
Right? Dude, the entire first run of this game, I didn't understand. I didn't even know the flags were a thing.
I only started going for flags later because I ran out of food. Fine.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So this was my expedition high point where I'm like, oh yeah, let's just get the loot out there and just go.
We need that soundbite then. Give me the loot.
Give me the loot.
Yeah, Chad, did you do anything here before dinner?
Yep, I did. I sent some scouts out and hunted some seals.
Nice. Dad, was your entire crew wasted with the freezing? Or
so I'm pretty sure a bunch of scouts came back frozen. But they came back with something. Like they came back with food. So it wasn't a total loss.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we did dinner, had some post-dinner conversations. I didn't bother to write them down necessarily because they weren't super important. But 5 loyalty with Junior, 5 with Grimly, and 10 with Kurt. 10! This guy just bleeds loyalty, I tell you. Finished the week doing half fuel rations to save some fuel because I was chilling at 100%. which got me -10 decorum, but I don't care anymore because I was sitting pretty at 100. I did normal food rations, so I ended the week with 90 decorum, 64 fuel, and 46 food. 2 Johns was cured of his freezing. Mr. Gloss, he was still demoralized, so tacked on an extra -5 decorum there. Chad, how was your week's end?
Yeah, pretty. I did normal for both things again. I was still sitting decently well, even though I started the week with low fuel. Maybe I actually got, because you can like assign people to the coal thing to get more coal, right? Yeah. So yeah, I did normal. I was still sitting halfway decent as far as that.
Nice. Yeah, for I think every week I assigned 3 engineers in there just to scoop coal, and then I apparently was forgetting to actually use it. But were you guys making use of that, the coal?
I think I did not realize that until like this week. The assigning to, can you assign people to the pantry? I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah,
you can. Yeah.
Damn.
Yep. Yep. It's a real shame. So moving on to week 6, unless anyone has anything else they need to say.
I cured, I think it might have been week 4 that I missed, but I cured the steam burn dude with the dock.
Oh,
yeah.
And that became like a kind of frustrating element for me, because you have to assign to make the medicine or whatever. You have to assign all the scientists.
Yep.
And then you can get, it might be in one of those rooms where you can get it down to 2 with one of the items that you pick in there. I can't remember which room it's in.
Yeah.
But that was like frustrating because I had assigned what's his face to go get demoralized in the interview room, and then I couldn't make the medicine, so I had to push it another week.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could. The medicine it does suck to throw all your scientists there, but it's not like totally necessary, right? Because you can just have, well, unless you have more than. Can you assign 2 people to the medical bay?
If you get the thing,
you have to get something to be able to do it. Yeah,
but you could at least throw one in there, and that just takes time. But yeah.
So they'll cure if you throw them in the med bay. They'll cure themselves like over time.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you had to get that medicine to cure them.
No.
Gotcha.
Just instantly.
But yeah, the medicine's nice because you throw them in the med bay, use the medicine, and they're immediately available. If you don't have the medicine, they have to wait there for a week, and you can't use them for anything else. But the medicine is nice to have because. There will be times where you have more than one person who needs cured of something.
Yeah.
But
I
also
forgot that the first time I saw that option, it was like at this point a couple weeks ago. The first time you talk to the doctor and you get the options to do all that. I just had the scientists make medicine, so I was up 1 there, and then I think it was this week is where I went into one of those rooms and got 2 medicine.
So you had a nice little stockpile.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think oh shoot, what was I going to say? Another thing to remember is like taking advantage of just using normal or high rations if possible too, to cure the extra cure the extra freezing or malnourished people. That'll help too at the end of the week. But yeah, that's like a delicate balance too, because you don't want to like waste extra supplies if you can avoid it. But I think the real play is kind of doing what Nick did, except starting even earlier, just every week assigning all your scientists to just make you medicine.
They were really underutilized for me early on too, because I had so many food options on the Explorer. I was just sending crew out to go hunt. So they were really kind of doing nothing. I was like, okay, about time they did something.
Yeah, I wish I would have thought of that.
I had them shoveling coal and then finally making medicine.
Get those hands dirty. All right. So we're on to week 6 here. And we have a little meeting.
Yes.
When we go to the captain's cabin, field requests for the week, Templeton, Kurt, Cordell, and Hammond are all inside. Kurt says he sees no change in the ice and thinks the Temperance will be crushed by the ice in a matter of weeks. Templeton says making camp on the ice is something we need to consider, and Hammond agrees. The longer we stay on the ship, the more fuel we burn, and we run the risk of another boiler incident. Cordell is hesitant to leave the shelter of the ship. Kurt and Hammond also point out that the crew might think that we're giving up if we leave the ship too soon. So, are we remaining on the ship or moving to the ice? Chad, what did you do?
I decided to stay on the ship.
Yeah. What about you, Dad?
I stayed.
Nick?
I believe I chose the option where it was like one more week. Like that was my intention from the start. Like I will, because whoever it was made a good case of why we should get off the boat. And I was like, that makes sense. So I will, but not right now. So that was my attack.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, for me it was just like I didn't want to. There were rooms that I hadn't cleared out yet, so I didn't know if I selected to leave the ship if it would be immediate. So I knew that I needed to get those rooms at the very least, and then I kind of wanted to try and stockpile some coal because as I'm doing like the exploring stuff, sending the scouts out, there's food out there, yes, but there's no, like, I don't know, and I still at the end of week 10 don't know how the hell you're supposed to get coal or anything to burn to keep things warm. So
yeah, and then in hindsight, having gotten to week 7 or when the ship finally succumbs to the ice, you can go back after you unpack the boat to clear those rooms.
Can you? Okay, I didn't know that.
Granted, at that point in time, you're committing resources to go do that, right?
Yeah.
And you can also still get coal while it succumbs to the ice for some time, and you can break up furniture in some of those rooms or something.
You know what?
There's the door or something, or something breaks.
In the cafeteria area, you could break up like tables or something in there. So
yeah, and if you get a nice chunk of lumber too, if you assign crew to that. Also, most, if not all of the food items, you can also burn as fuel.
Right.
And even some of the seals, I think it's the leopard seal, gives you like a crap load of fuel.
Oh, really?
If you burn
that.
I think it actually it gives you more fuel than food too, but I am not certain on the values. But yeah, one of the
only by like a little bit, I think.
Yeah. I decided to move on to the ice right away. Dang. I got +5 loyalty with Hammond, -5 with Cordell, but I'm operating with hindsight because of playing this once before. Because the first time I was in a similar boat as you, Chad, where I was like, there's too much stuff on the ship. Like, I can't leave yet. I still need to like load up. But once you leave the ship, if you leave early enough, you can send people back on to get stuff. So we moved on to the ice, and then it was time for requests. By the way, I love the transition from the boat to the ice. Like, cool little like stop motion cutscene.
Yeah, it was cool.
The camp on the ice is really cool looking. The requests, though, we had Mr. Gloss. He said, of course, nothing was found monitoring the radios, but we got +6 decorum for trying. Cordell said the dogs need dog glues, so I assigned some crew to make those. I got +5 loyalty with her. Tucker says the mast is broken and we should fix it before the ship is freed. I decline because we just left the ship because we think it's going to get crushed. I got 5 loyalty with Templeton finally. Mr. Zach, Templeton called him in to inform us that Zach has a gun. Did you let him keep it or make him turn it into you? Chad. The pacifist military man over there.
Yeah, I removed it from him and gave it to Cordell for hunts.
Oh.
And then that little bitch got demoralized.
Ooh.
Did it come with any perks for giving it to her for hunting? Or
no?
All right, what'd you do, Dad?
I did the same thing.
Nick?
Aye.
But
You guys all did the same.
Maybe it did give perks, Dad. Maybe if you have in the notes, maybe it did.
Well, we got +5 loyalty from Templeton and Cordell, but I don't remember anything else.
Okay. I just let him keep it, and I got -10 loyalty with Templeton.
That's not
I
how
think-
you're on a boat.
Hey,
I think at this
the right to
point-
bear arms.
I was doing everything I could just to piss him off, and I had lost loyalty completely with him. He was no longer loyal to me, but
Wow.
there was a point later on where I gained it back.
It's
It
impressive.
was like kind of like I lost loyalty, I gained it. I lost it, I gained it. Like I was just kind of back and forth with it, just for fun.
Yeah, they're very on again, off again.
Yeah. You know, it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, definitely. Grimly comes in. He says there's a rumor going around that the ship is haunted by the ghost of Captain Hunt. I made a joke about it and got -15 loyalty
Same.
with Grim.
Yeah.
I did too. Yeah.
Up bad, bro.
Dude, can't take a joke.
It's never been
man.
right
Come on.
since.
I know, dude.
He's so
He's a closed door now.
He's tough.
Fucked
That was it for the requests. So for me, I just
Boiler?
went straight to dinner. Did you guys do anything before dinner?
I definitely tried talking to everybody.
I
Again,
went-
Yeah.
but like no one really wanted to talk. I kept trying to talk to the doctor to get him to like boost some. Because at this point, I am checking loyalty. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to like up it for people, but like that dude wasn't having it.
Yeah. So we had dinner.
I sent what's his face to Kasha for an interview.
Hmm.
Someone's got to do it.
Yep.
You got to boost decorum.
I had a great post dinner week here. I had +5 loyalty with everyone I spoke to. Junior, and with this, I gained his loyalty, which was nice. I got 5 with Grimly, 5 with Templeton, 10 with Kurt, 5 with Cordell, 5 with Hammond. Went and grabbed the boiler and headed out on the ice because this is the point where you actually make the move from the boat to the ice. And in doing so, got 5 with Templeton again and 5 more with Junior. And we finished the week just running normal rations. I had cured 2 freezing crew because of the perk that I grabbed from the engineering room, and ended with 100 decorum, 16 fuel, 50 food. However, 2 of my crew member who were freezing were not cured, and they progressed into frostbite. So 2 Johns and Runstad.
No.
Little frosty. They're not dead yet, though, guys. They just have frostbite. So if I don't cure them next week, they will die. Yeah. How did your guys' weekends? Weeks.
This
end?
one ended fairly decently. A lot of those because I think this was the same, unless it was next week when I do move out onto the ice. The cook getting his loyalty in, but simultaneously like pissing off his brother to no end. Then I think food actually I went normal because I had all the from the hunting and everything. And then fuel I was good on too. So like it was weird because right when things start to like get worse, I was like, yeah, that wasn't so bad. But
Nice.
that's how they bait you in.
Yeah.
Try to trick you.
Dad, Chad, your guys' weeks end okay? Nothing too
Yep.
crazy yet?
Yeah, so I misspoke. My previous week I went on the low end for the food. So this week I went normal. But freezing is becoming an issue because of the rooms. Demoralization is becoming an issue across the board as well. And then I do have some malnourished people as well.
But you got those cans of lemons or whatever.
I do.
in your
I
back
do.
pocket.
Yep. But did nothing with them currently.
All right. Week 7 starts out with 2 Johns and Runstad, putting them right in the medical bay. Got to get that frostbite taken care of. I cured one of them instantly with some medicine, and then let the other one sit there for a week. Then it was request time. Hammond came in, says we should grab as much coal as possible from the ship before it sinks. Obviously, gonna agree with that. Junior came in and he brought one spoiled rations tin, and he's like, "This is kind of what we're working with now. We're gonna use this? Yay, nay?" I said, "Yep, we need to use as much food as possible." Accepted it. I got -5 loyalty with both Junior and Templeton. What the heck? I'm just looking out for the best of everyone. Got to fill those bellies.
Scurvy ain't good, man.
What did you guys do with Hammond and Junior here?
I was like, hell no. Burn that shit. I think that was an option, wasn't it?
So yeah, I also used it. And so moving into week 7, I have two people, Mr. Zach and Cavity. Is that a name, or did I misspell that?
No, that's right.
They currently have scurvy from their malnourishment that I let get too far. So in the early part of the week, I spent some time curing that with the lemons and the hooch, and I think I put one of them in the medical bay. I didn't. Yeah, it's just shit's falling apart here. This week 7 is where shit just goes way downhill for me. And I mean, we can get into it once we get further into the week here.
Okay. How's your week 7 starting, Dad?
So my decorum is great. It's at 95.
Dang,
nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, the week prior was 68, so I was like, I gotta figure out how to get this.
Pay attention to it.
Yeah. But with that, my food was at an 11.
Oh,
and my fuel was at 50 though. I'm surprised though, because I sent out hunting parties and I did have food. I probably just didn't use enough. But yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like with feeding the boiler and the hooch pot, like you don't have to throw all of your supply in your backpack into those. So it's a fine line of dancing, between making people angry and running out of food, or just throwing everything you have and hoping you find something the next week. After the request, Templeton suggests that I have a conversation with Kasha, that the crew, they're private. They don't really like her snooping around or reporting. She controls the story, your story, he said. I'm just like, dude, whatever. Templeton, bro, go read your botanist book. Like, quit being a dork.
It's like, dog, we might die out here. If we even make it back, she can say whatever she wants.
Right.
I'm not gonna care. It's like 1800s. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah. So at this point, I went back on the ship. I assigned my 3 scientists to the scientist room to gather their research. So that got me +3 research. I assigned 6 crew members to strip the dining area of timber. So I got 6 timber, and 3 crew member to gather coal. So I ended up leaving with 9 fuel options here, which was really nice. And then dinner
I didn't do any of that. I didn't do any of that shit, by the way. I didn't even know that was an option. Yeah, I didn't even know that was an option.
Well, at this point, I'm off the ship now. So
so you're going.
My
back
options
to the
are
ship.
a little
Gotcha.
bit different. Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened before dinner time for Chad?
So yeah, I mean, that was really all that I kind of skipped ahead earlier. That was the curing of the scurvy and getting dinner ready. But it's here where once you go into dinner, if you're still on the ship, the dining room floods. Okay. So the dining room floods, and then basically that's like your final fucking hint, like get the hell off the ship. And guess what I didn't do? Totally stayed on the ship for another week.
Who were you arguing with about staying on the ship? Like, wasn't everyone at this point saying get off the boat?
Everyone,
like,
yeah, everyone. But I'm like, no, dude, there's too much shit here. Like, we can't. We got to stay. We're not going on the ice. To be honest with you, I thought that was like the path you're supposed to go. Like, you're supposed to stay on the ship as long as possible. But this is the last moment. So if you stay on and complete this week on this ship pops off at the beginning of week 8, and this is the first fail safe. So everybody, it's pure fucking mayhem. People are dying left and right, and then you eventually fail. So I actually had to go back. So once the dining room floods, I went back, and this is when I abandoned the ship.
Okay.
So what really happens in week 8? Like,
wait, do you die?
So everything pops off. Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody dies. There's like maybe like a mutiny of some sort. It's all like text bubbles, and then you get like so this is when I was like, I texted Mike. I was like, dude, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to make it to week 10, dude. Like, shit's getting real hairy here. Like, so I went back and I obviously corrected that mistake, but it's not the only one. It's not the only one that I'll make here. So
it's not the only one.
That's crazy, because like week 7 and 8 were kind of my low points, because like 9 and by 10 I turned things around really well, and like
it must be nice.
I kind of never mind.
Nice. So did either of the bottom panel do anything before dinner here on week 7?
Just what you did, scrap the boat.
Okay, so you decided to go to. You're on the ice at this point.
Yeah, at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, I only waited one extra week to make that move.
That's the right move, in case you're confused.
I, like Chad, sent my entire crew to a watery grave.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
So I too had to go back and try again.
Oh, rip. So after dinner, to our not dead crew, some of the crew, they're murmuring about Kasha snooping around. I get 5 loyalty with Kurt, Cordell, and Nutley. I lose 5 loyalty with Hammond because I asked if he was married. This dude is like, you cannot have a normal conversation with this guy. It's like, oh, so you married? And he's like, screw you.
He does not like us.
No. I got 10 loyalty with Junior, though. 5 for refusing to take one of the scouts' rations that they offered me. So I was like, nah, you eat it. I'm full. And he's like, that's awesome. And then I got 5 loyalty with Templeton because I read his dumb plant book like Nick talked about earlier.
Yeah, I did that too.
I finished the week with normal rations for food and fuel, and I ended with 100 decorum, 52 fuel, and 40 food.
Is that week 8 ending?
Week 7 ending.
Okay, week 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the rough one for me. I think I had to do like double half-seas on
Yeah.
So on to week 8. Much like Chad and Dad just alluded to, right when you go to start to take requests, the ship is fully engulfed by the ice, and the Temperance is no more. And because of this, 3 of the crew become demoralized. They're kind of sad now. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. I got to take some requests. So we head to the tent. Kasha and Hammond are in there. Kasha found old journals and diaries from the missing crew and wants to keep them. Hammond wants to burn them for fuel because he's Hammond, has no soul. I chose to keep them, and that gave you 10 loyalty with Kasha and -5 with Hammond. What'd you guys do here?
Same.
Yep.
Nick?
I
feel like you burnt them.
Yeah. I can't. Oh, what were
You're like,
options?
let's burn them. And then he like fist bumps Hammond.
Didn't that help decorum too, or no?
I didn't note it down, but maybe. The next request, Junior comes in and today is a holiday called Imbolg, which is a sailor's holiday. Junior wanted to have a feast. I said, that's a great idea, but I just literally told you we're going to eat spoiled rations like 2 weeks ago, so can't really spare anything. So I got
wasn't this weird where it was like he was upset but he wasn't upset and it was like a positive negative thing?
He was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because you can pep talk them up a little bit at the beginning and say, like, to Templeton, like, it's a major holiday and you get some loyalty out of that.
Yeah.
So then you can decline, which is also what I did. And it's funny because this is where I have Junior written down on the request for the spoiled food on week 8, which I did not risk. So I don't know. Does it come twice?
I don't think so. Maybe it's just because I left the boat earlier.
Maybe,
yeah.
But yeah, I said, great idea, but we can't spare the rations. Got 5 loyalty with Junior and Templeton. And even though I've only gained like positive loyalty with Templeton like twice to this point, he's now loyal to me. Go figure. I don't know. But
I think was he in favor of moving to the ice or not? I think he was.
I think he was. Yeah.
Because you were so quick about that, I think it probably was helpful because he was big on that one.
Right. But this decision, like you guys said, -14 decorum. So that sucks. I also forgot to mention, even though I moved to the ice, I did go through some of the other rooms in the lower deck. I got, I didn't write them down, but I got at least 1 gun. I got this thing that gives you a perk. Man, I wish I would have wrote it down because the perk's kind of weird. So basically, for every crew member that is malnourished, it adds like 1 food to the pot or whatever.
Yep.
So I had that. So that's kind of why I decided to do the spoiled rations, because I'm like, well, at least when I use them, then I'll gain more food because I have that.
That makes
poison
sense.
Y'all because I get a captain perk.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it sucks. It tastes gross, but you get some extra food. But anyways, I forget all the other stuff I got, but I didn't go through all of the rooms because I was having people do other things. But anyways, I assigned 3 crew to finish building the dog glues and ended up getting 3 dogs back for service. Assigned one of the crews to get interviewed so they will not be sad anymore. Got 6 elephant seals and 1 research assignment for 9 decorum. Had to use 4 tins of spoiled food this week.
My goodness.
Ended with 4 of my crew being malnourished, and that was everything that happened up to dinner. Anything crazy happened for you lot down there?
Yeah. So I actually have my first death from scurvy. Mr. Zach has succumbed to his scurvy.
Mr. Zach.
I also
wrote down he took his gun.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I also wrote down, I'd be curious to see if you let him keep it and he dies, do you get it later on?
I don't know. I let him keep it, but he hasn't died yet. I'll try to remember that in case he does die.
I also wrote down that frostbite is becoming a real issue because I have several from clearing out those rooms as several. And maybe are the hunts, I think the hunts too, people come back freezing from.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of issue with it turning into frostbite.
Same.
But I spent some time, now that I know that scurvy is kills you in a week. I spent some time curing the scurvy again.
Scurv.
So only 1 death currently.
Well, it's not bad. Better than last week.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Dad?
Yeah, it was the frostbite was an issue for sure for me as well. And trying to like fuel the boiler was interesting. because there wasn't really much to throw in there. Although this is week 8.
Yep.
I'm at 100% or 100 decorum.
Wow, that's impressive.
I finished the week with 95. So right up there with you, Dad. What about you, Nick? How was the end of your week?
This is end of week 8. End of week 8 was not brutal, but I was in a very consistent churn of freezing folk and demoralized folk. And maybe one person malnourished at this point, but the roughness of week 7 kind of leveled out. It was still not perfect, but it was more of this is life now. I'm constantly fixing everything, but it was stable. Not great, but stable.
Yeah, things start to get a little tricky here for me at the end of week 8. So I finished with normal rations for fuel and food, which cured one member that had malnourishment. I end with 95 decorum, 52 fuel, 44 food. However, because I used the spoiled rations and I sent out, at least 2... No, maybe I sent out 3 crew members to hunt the seals and scientists to do the research. I finished with 2 crews freezing from the hunt and injured by the seals.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah.
I've not gotten hurt by a seal yet.
2 crew members are still demoralized, so I lose 10 decorum there. And total with 3 crew with scurvy and 3 are freezing. So your little crew bar down at the bottom, the little icons, they change colors. I don't know if you guys noticed that. My crew bar is very colorful.
Yep, same.
It's looking like a dang rainbow down there.
Yeah.
So yeah, end of week 8, going into week 9, starting off a little bit of. I didn't even talk about what happened after dinner. 5 loyalty with Templeton. I go to the kennels. 2 dogs were fighting aggressively, but Cordell wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so it's do you go and find Cordell? Do you grab the whip and crack it? Or do you just let them go? And I'm like, okay, these dogs are very valuable. I can't have them ripping each other's throats out. So I grab the whip and crack it. I'm not hitting the dogs. I'm just getting their attention here.
Are you?
As soon as I grab the whip, Cordell walks up and she's like,
"What are you doing?
Piece of shit."
Doing? So negative 10 loyalty. And she's basically like, dude, they do this all the time. They're not going to do anything. Why would you do that? Did this happen to you guys at all?
Dog. Plus 10 loyalty for running and getting her.
I went and got her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, Mike.
Just cracking the whip on some dogs.
So quick,
man.
What if you came back and the dogs were both dead because they shoot each other's throats out?
She said it happens all the time. You should just know this.
Not a dog person, apparently.
Unbelievable. All right, 2 more weeks to cover, guys. We're getting close. Coming down the home stretch.
Can I start this week off?
Yes, please do.
So
I feel like this is going to be entertaining.
Yeah. So obviously we talked about frostbite is becoming an issue for me. And I spent last week mainly focusing on the scurvy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this week.
That's almost as great of a sentence as when you and I first talked tonight, Chad.
Yeah.
Chad's like, I focus this week on the scurvy. I start my conversation with Chad today man, my feet got bitten up by ants at a birthday party. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Man, I really got bit up by some ants at a birthday party. Okay, dude. Weird sentence, but we'll move on. So this week starts with mayhem from the frostbite. So Runt, Lefty, Gnomes, Tucker, all dead.
Oh my
They're
God.
all dead from the frostbite. Okay.
That is a lot.
Which is followed immediately by the expedition ending and me needing to restart.
Oh,
That's how week
no.
9 pans out for me. So
'Cause
you
it-
can't
wait.
let too many people die. I think it's because
Right, okay.
the volume of deaths.
Mm.
So now, I mean, at this point, I've got Mr. Zach, who died last week from his scurvy, Runt, Lefty, Gnomes, Tucker. So
6?
5 people all
Alright.
dead. Yeah, 5 people all
It's
dead.
brutal.
So I went back,
Probably 20 per
restarted.
pop.
I actually tried to go back and save Mr. Zach. I was unable to do so. So moving into week 9, part 2, I still have some deaths. And it's Mr. Zach dying here and 2 Johns dying, both from scurvy.
Hmm.
Yep.
So you avoided the frostbite, but doubled down on scurvy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Sounds
just
like
I
that was
can't-
the
can't
play. Though.
balance. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least allow me to continue past week 9. I didn't have much of an option. My expedition just ended.
So you're going back just like a couple weeks, right? In the
Yep.
tree, you're not completely starting all the way
Yep.
over.
So I think I initially had gone back a week and realized that shit was too bad. That I had to go back further to try to correct what was
Yep.
coming. So I think I went back to week 7.
Nice. Yeah, the save tree is really awesome because
Yeah, it is.
literally you can go back to any week. And my first playthrough is still has its own tree, and then this playthrough like branched off to the side.
Oh,
So I
that's
could
cool.
still go back to any week in either of my playthroughs so far,
Oh,
which is
that's
kind of
very
cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, week 9 starts. I tried to do my best patching up all the crew's ailments here, but I'm not really sure how the week's going to end at this point because, like I said, my crew bar is like a rainbow down there. So I started out just by taking requests. Cordell, I got 10 loyalty for finishing the dog loose, which is great.
Yep.
I did some scouting and hunting, got some crab eater skills, and then it was dinner time. Did anything crazy happen for you, Nick or Dad, prior to dinner here?
Nothing that I can think of. This was mostly me getting rid of as much rainbow in my crew deck as possible. This week was just a lot of
Stabilizing.
Maintenance.
finishing the stabilizing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had another request
Oh, okay.
from Junior. I didn't write down what the request was, but the answer I gave was hand over the 10. I don't know if any of you guys got that.
Oh, yeah, I got that one. He had like chocolates, like sweets and stuff
yes.
that
that's
his
it.
mother or something had sent him before
Yeah.
leaving. But it's kind of like a let him have it. Food is food, and there's a third option, but I went food is food. Like
Yep.
you gotta share that with the peeps.
Do you guys lose some loyalty with him?
Yes.
It was one of those he understood, but got docked some loyalty. So it was like you did the right thing, but like I'm kind of he got demoralized. I think he's sad about it.
Oh yeah, you're right. You might be right. That's what happened.
Anything for you, Dad? No.
No. Just trying to survive.
Yeah, so we have dinner. Post dinner happenings. 5 loyalty with Cordell. Dude, this Nutley guy, I swear. Having a conversation with him, he's talking about all this crazy, like superstitious stuff. And I'm just like, just don't be. And he's like,
Yep.
screw you, negative 15 loyalty. And at this point, now I've lost his loyalty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bro. What do you want me to do? Feed into your like psychosis?
Delusions.
You do. And I did like 2 weeks in a row, and it was getting close. And then I did exactly what you did. I was like,
It's lost all your progress.
no big deal, man. Just relax.
Yeah, just don't.
What?
This guy. And then I got 5 loyalty for just looking at Kasha or something like that.
You smiled
What
at
up,
her.
babe?
Yeah, it's like she's like, +5.
What's up, shake number 3?
Finished the week with normal rations. I ended up getting 4 crab eater seals and 2 research points on my scouting, but that netted me with 3 freezing crew. 2 of my crew were Yeah, why can't I say those
Wow.
two words
Two
together?
of IQ were crude.
2 crew were cured of scurvy. 1 was cured of demoralization. However, Tucker died of scurvy.
Oh,
Poor
First
Tucker.
death, -20 decorum, and -20 loyalty with Junior and Grimly. So
Oh wow.
that was a big blow.
Yeah.
Because it was Tucker.
Yeah, because it was like one of their friends or something. Big sad. That's a big blow. How did week 9 end for you, Dad?
So I was down to 83 decorum. And this is where things really started getting bad. I mean, last week was bad. But this week I've got 16 food and 1 fuel. Yeah, I at this point I don't know how I'm getting through this. But
It's
we'll
gonna
see.
start burning bodies soon.
I'm gonna start, burning the food, burning the seals that come back.
All right, we ready?
But
to
yeah,
move on?
there was similar to Chad. Like there was a point where I lost too many people, and I had to kind of go back and
So you've had 2 restarts as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm,
about to be a
Can't
third probably.
remember. Can't remember who died, but someone either
complete food.
died this week or next week. I can't remember if it was the week of 10 or 9 where someone died of scurvy.
All right. Well, let's get into week 10 here, the final week we're covering this month. To start out the week, I used my 3 scientists to concoct some medicine because, we can't have any more deaths. With that, I was able to cure the 2 injured crew members, which was nice. 2 Johns, Cavity, and Junior, they all gave little speeches at the sad funeral for Tucker, which, was very touching. Hate to see a crew member go down. But then it was on to requests for me. Did anything happen before requests for you guys before we get into them?
No.
All right. Hammond comes in. This dude and his boiler. The crew, they're asking for oil for their lamp lights because at this point the days are getting darker sooner and for longer. I allow it, but that gives us -20 fuel, -5 loyalty with Ham, but 10 decorum. So maybe a payoff? Probably not, because at this point, I could have spared the decorum, honestly.
Yeah.
So that was probably a mistake. Kurt comes in and he wants to discuss the future directions of things after dinner. But did you guys all decline Hammond? Was I the only dummy who was like, yeah?
I did. Yep, I declined him.
Okay.
Same.
So dinner happens, and then after dinner, you get +5 loyalty with Cordell and Kasha. Kurt and Templeton, they're talking to me about moving camp again. Kurt's saying the ice is starting to melt, so we got to move soon. We don't want to end up like the Temperance. So I said, get the word out. We move in a week. What happened with you guys? Same thing?
Same for me. Yep.
Learned your lesson, I see.
Learned my lesson. I'm moving.
And I noted in red here that it's been weeks since Junior and Grimly have talking to me after dinner. Every time I go to them, there's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go grab some Z's. Have you guys been able to converse with Junior and Grimly?
At the camp on the ice, I can talk with Junior, but Grimly, yeah, he doesn't want to talk to me at all.
Yeah, and Grimly
must be because you let their buddy die. Did you get the big loyalty hits last week?
Yeah, Grimly has been almost since I moved onto the ice, but then Junior, I think, happened like after this death or the week of the death. But I'm a little concerned because they're kind of, big characters up to this point. So hopefully I can get an opportunity to gain their trust back somehow.
Did you guys have the conversation with the pair of them where they basically, to me, they were like, are you just like trying to get being good with the crew, like basically only talking to them to gain loyalty.
Yeah.
And it's like, you caught me as the player, yes, but not really.
Yeah.
Just checking in
Yeah. I care. Promise.
about this decorum.
Yeah, about this dude. So I finished using half food rations because at this point my food supply isn't the highest, but this is going to get me, +1 malnourished. But I'm hoping that I can just throw them in the med bay next week. I doubled fuel because my fuel supply is very high thanks to the timber and all that stuff. And I needed to cure 2 freezing. This also makes up for some of the decorum that was lost last week. I finish with 100 decorum, so I could have refused Hammond. I probably should have. But I have 25 fuel and 53 food. I ended with 5 crab eater seals from my hunt, 1 freezing and 1 malnourished. How was the end of week 10 for you guys? And then I played into the start of week 11. Like I didn't go through anything with week 11, but something happens between these weeks. And I don't know if you guys did that or not. If not, I'll save. I'll
save. I didn't, at least.
Okay. Yeah, no, as soon as it was like, hey, you've did your rationing, and then it's like, do the thing. And I'm like, all right, I'm not doing nothing.
I continued on, but we can save it.
Yeah, we'll save it. All right. So how did week 10 finish for you, Chad?
Yeah, so I did some scouting, sent out some hunts. So yes, shit's real sketchy on this end, man, because I have virtually no food. I have nothing to burn for fuel at all. My decorum is 41. My fuel is 21, and my food is 18, and I have 2 dead.
Might need to dig those boys back up. Use them for something. What about you, Dad?
Like, I didn't know that you could burn the seals or anything. So I'm like sitting through the final couple weeks, like, what the hell am I supposed to burn for fuel, dude? I have nothing.
Yeah.
So
I ended up burning one of the seals because it gave like a few more points for fuel than food. But I was sitting at.
I might have known that you could do it, but it wasn't giving me I felt like it wasn't giving me enough value for burning it.
I don't remember. Is it the leopard seal, Nick? There's a particular one that gives you like 17 fuel. Like it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's the larger game because it like fatty oils. It's the seals.
But you have to have the rifle, right? Don't you have to have the rifle to get the bigger game?
So what the rifle does,
it just gives you extra
+1, like to big game, and then there's medium game.
Yeah, and then also, do you guys feed the dogs? Like I've not fed the dogs at all.
I have not. No.
That's the fish thing. Like you can go in there, you don't have to, but if you toss some fish, you can get some back. But other than that, no, you don't have to take care of them. Maybe that's what has to happen if what's her face isn't there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Plus, you can use those little fish for food too if you get into a pinch. So sometimes it's hard to justify throwing them to old Stanberry. But
he's such a good boy, though.
He is. Continue, Dad.
So 51 decorum.
Oh, okay.
35 food and 20 fuel.
Okay. You're better than I am, at least.
And I also lost Quilzy, York the Third, and Dick.
Oh, you got 3 deaths.
Lost the good old Dick.
Hate to see it. Nick, what happened week 10 for you?
Week 10? So, I mean, I knew that we made the call to move the following week, so I knew that was coming up. I think everyone is cured of like everything other than the routine freezing folk. Finally found some food items on the map. I just had nothing but research, but I was able to unlock a seal and some penguins. So
sent
out a bunch of people there. Yeah, mostly everything's healed up. Have not dipped into my medicine. I still have like 3 of those.
Oh.
But I did have to use some wood to feed the boiler, the furnace. But I have plenty of that. And food, I think, is a little tight, but I think I went through like a couple weeks there of pretty tight food. But going into week 11, I should have some food from the hunts because I sent out basically like all the crew to go do that. So I was like, I need food.
Yeah.
But fuel is pretty good. I'm hoping. I don't know what's going to happen at week 11 to 20, but sheesh.
Yeah.
Starts off with a
If
bang.
I'm starting to think about the hard times and like these two over here are in the hard times.
Oh, we're already
like,
at we're already at it.
We've been there.
Been through it. Been through it multiple times.
I think I only have the 5 crab eater seals in my inventory. Like I don't think I have any fuel options left or like saved up food.
Okay.
So week 11 might be a little rough. We'll see what happens though.
Yeah, the only bright side on my end is my rainbow of sailors at the bottom is not very, it's pretty white. Like there's like 3 or maybe 4 that are malnourished. But it's maybe not even that. It might be like 2. Like I was sitting pretty on as far as
good,
people
man.
I need. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
You're gonna make it, Chad.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. Got quite a few more weeks to go. The game, I believe, is a total of 38 weeks. So we're 20, 25, a little more than 25% of the way through.
Yeah.
Here.
I see a
Full-term
lot of
pregnancy.
restarts coming for Dad and I.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
I forget what week I made it to in my first playthrough, but I lost. So, and I didn't bother restarting. This is my restart. So we'll see how long it goes before I have to, rewind a little bit. But
Yeah.
thank goodness for that save tree, or else I don't know if I'd be retrying. But overall, just first impressions of the first chunk here. You guys enjoying yourselves, or how you feeling?
Yeah, man. Yep.
Nice. All right. Well, we'll be back next month with the next chunk of weeks here. Hopefully you're playing along with us. It's an interesting game. You should definitely give it a try. Let us know what you think. And thank you again for your support and being patrons. You guys rule. We'll see you around. Good day.
Later.
Let it go to 22 seconds. Get it right on the mark. Get ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
Get it. You gotta do it now.